Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tactical Arbitrage Training, week number 1. So, in this episode, or this course, this session, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the sheer basics of tactical arbitrage. We're not going to get into the fancy stuff. We're just going to get you a brief level knowledge that you can watch here in 30, 40 minutes. It's going to give you every aspect of tactical arbitrage that you're going to need to know. So, first thing you want to do, if you already have a free trial, or if you already are a subscriber to Tactical Arbitrage, you'll want to go to tacticalarbitrage.com/login. Okay? If you're not, you can follow along. You don't have to have that to take this course or watch these videos, but that's where we're going to go to start. You're going to put in your username, your password, and then they make you do this nice little math quiz here. If you really have trouble with the math, go to Google, search it. That's just a joke, okay? It's a really easy math question. But what you're going to do is hit log in. And it's going to take you to this page. I know it looks so exciting, doesn't it? Yeah, I know. So exciting. Well, actually, what we're going to want to do is click this button right here, which is main sourcing portal. Okay. So now this looks like something that can actually help us do stuff. So let's look at the top here. We're going to have product search, view data. You can see the drop down when I click it here. Amazon flips with the drop down. Reverse search with the drop down. The library search. Product variation. Of course, I clicked that. So we're going to go back here. We're going to go here. Sorry about that. So you also have settings, videos, FAQ, and their support. So let's get a nice little walk around of this first here. This is the main spot of where you tell it what we're going to be searching. I'll walk you through this in a second. Down here is what you're going to hear them referred to as variables or filters. Okay, it's going to go all the way here. On the right side here, you see delete old data, download data, view data. Explain that in a little bit. Now here is some getting started stuff. We got some video tutorials that Alex, the creator of this, has created. You have their Facebook page. You got domains with UPC. I'll explain that here in a second. Here's some XPath examples. Sounds really complicated. Not very complicated. We'll walk through it briefly in this course. Premium bulk lists, Facebook, and a popular products extension that's free for all members. So that's what we have on our homepage. I know, so exciting. So let's get from the top to the bottom here. Let's just go ahead and let's take a very simple example. Let's click this. So this is going to actually list every website that they have that you can use tactical arbitrage to search. I mean, look at this. It's tons and tons and tons and tons of websites. I mean, I don't even know what, let's see here, iHerb is, but it's on there. So now there's one thing you guys are going to want to catch real quick here. And I'll scroll up. There are 2 to 3 different kinds of searches, and the third one is the EAN one. You're going to see the word title search, and then you're going to see the word UPC/EAN. So now what does that mean? Title search is going to search for a product based upon the title of the product. I know, it's radical, it's crazy, but if I have a Green Bay Packers cell phone case, and that's the title of my product, that's what it's going to search for on the other site to compare. Title searches are not as accurate as UPC searches. Doesn't mean that they're bad searches. It just means they are searching and making the comparison based upon a different piece of information. Now, a UPC search, or EAN, what that is if you go to your barcode on any product, there is a UPC code there. It's going to have the digits. It's actually tactical arbitrage, and a UPC match is going to compare UPC code to UPC code. That takes out a lot of the guesswork between does this title actually match it, so the results are typically more accurate. I say typically because it really depends on the website. The information is being pulled from Amazon and the other sites. So sometimes title search is better. Sometimes UPC search is better. But that is the difference between those types of searches. Okay. So let's go ahead and pick one that we all know and love, Walmart. Now you're going to see the keys. We'll go into that in another session here. That's just a fancy word of something else you can do to speed up your process here in tactical arbitrage. But walmart.com UPC EAN search. Okay, so I clicked it. What happened here? Well, you notice how some things changed on the right-hand side? You guys remember that? We were here. Oh, look, it says getting started. And then we went to Walmart. So you get this, and it's actually going to give you some directions here. So it's saying if you want to scan more than 25 pages, we're going to have to use the keys, which is a simple setup. We'll walk through it later. It takes about 3 minutes to get through. Then it's going to give you some instructions here. So when you guys have seen previous online sourcing softwares, it's usually you go to the page that you want to search. So say we're going to Walmart here. And you guys have seen me do this a million times. We're going to go action figures just because it's the first one I know. So if I was going into statues and bobbleheads, if I was using like an OA X-ray or something, all I would simply do is hit my little OA X-ray button and it would sort on the page. So I take it to the page and then I let it do it. That's what a Google Chrome extension does. Google Chrome extension works within the browser. Tactical Arbitrage is its own software, so it actually has a server that's going to handle a lot of this processing. So if we look at our instructions here, it says when selecting a category, use the URL of the page you're wanting to scan. And it gives you a few examples. So you see how it has it here? It says browse electronics, TVs. If we copy this, we'll paste it here. It's going to pull up a TV page. Okay? It's showing us the results here. So you can look here, and they also give you a little bit more information. There's 40 products per page. It's going to match them on UPC code. There's even a quick little link to show you coupons on Retail Me Not to help you save a little additional money if you're doing your online sourcing. And there's even a picture to help show you where to find these URLs at. Okay? Very simple. So every store you go to, so if we go to, let's do web store restaurant, there are specific instructions that show exactly where to pull the URLs. So in order to run a search, or you'll hear it called a query, you'll have to use URLs. Okay? It'll show you how to find those too. So let's go back to Walmart. And so that's our first one. And if you click the little button here, it's going to take you straight to the store. Now, you see there's this little question mark that says use bulk. So if I clicked use bulk, what I could do is I could upload a file of URLs and just tell the system run down through the list. Okay? More information here can be given. So, I mean, it's going to tell you can upload a CSV file, which is a comma separated value file. You're going to just tell it to, here's all the URLs I want you to search, and it'll run while you sleep. So a lot of people use this feature to help speed up and automate their sourcing. So that's what a bulk list is. It's literally an Excel file that is formatted with a bunch of links that look like this in a row, and it tells it to search. Okay? Now you can build those yourself, or you can actually purchase those from other people who have created them, and that's where the automation starts coming in. Okay? So now, one thing you want to realize when we're going through this, anytime you see a blue question mark, they have done a pretty good job of explaining what is going on here, okay? So, if you wanted to take a wholesale list, for instance, this is what this next one's for. Say you got a list from a wholesale client or a wholesale wholesale account. They give you a list of all their UPC codes. And you want to run through them and see if there's any profitable items for you to purchase from this wholesaler. You can actually click this button, and there will be a list of how you should put all this in here. Okay? Title, UPC, price. You upload that file, you hit go, and it's going to compare all that to Amazon for you. So you can actually run what would take somebody hours upon hours to go through and hand pick and hand search all of these. You can automate it just by putting a file together. People do this all the time, especially when they're trying to find profitable wholesale items. So we'll undo that, and you see it'll gray out the areas that you'll no longer use. Because if you're using a wholesale list, why do you need to know a URL? Okay, it's all done within this same thing. So over here, delete old data. It's going to delete all the old stuff that's in the account, so you're going to be a clear starting point. Okay, you see how it removed all my crap there. So we'll go here. I'm going to put that URL we had in earlier. And now you're going to get to start pages. So we're looking at TVs. If we go down here, you're going to see there are 25 pages. Yeah, if I had to go through 25 different times to look at all these pages, I'd get a little mad. I'd get a little frustrated. I'd be like, come on, seriously? So tactical arbitrage, what you always want to do is start on page 1, unless you don't like to search the first page for some reason, and that's fine. But start at page 1, and you'll go to the end of the pages. If you don't know, just pick a number, and it'll kind of end once it runs. It's like, hey, I don't know, da 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 da. See, but it tells me if I want to use more than 25 pages in Walmart, I have to use keys. Like I said, it's another day, another story there. But you'll just put in the number of pages you want to run. Okay? So then you have your filters that you want to use if you have any saved filters. And so let me explain this a little bit further. All of this stuff here on the bottom, see where it says filter results? These are our ability to adjust, filter, drill down, do anything we want to help us determine which deals we want to use and which deals we do not want to use. Okay? So it's helping us, like, think of a big funnel. You have a big funnel at the top, and you're going to pour all of the leads into it. The filters are going to help us narrow them down to the ones we want. So every single one of these things allows us to go through and start looking at things and picking out the crap we don't want to see. So the first one is store price reductions. So say I have a discounted gift card that saves me 12%. And say I have a 30% off promo code. And say I have an additional 5% off clearance. I could say 12%, 30%, and 5%. So what this is going to do is it's going to use it like a, it's going to do the math for us. So it's going to say you have 12% off, and then we're going to take another 30% off, and then we're going to take 5% off that final total. So it's going to work it down to actually give you the math without you ever having to do the math. You just tell it what promo codes or what percentages off you have, and then you just stick them in there. It's brilliant. Now, sales tax, if you're someone, let's go ahead and put 15, 22. And I'm going to put these in since I backed that up here. You're going to see I can increase it. So in Indiana, sales tax is 7%. If I was not doing something where I have a sales tax exemption, I just put in my sales tax rate. It's going to automatically add in the sales tax, which will help me determine if the ROI is still beneficial for me to purchase. So this next one is going to remove ranks over a certain amount. So if I don't like to buy anything that's ranked over 100,000, I'm going to type that in. Okay? If I want something that's 1,000,000 or higher, I'll type that in. It removes the unwanted things that I don't want to see. So next one, if you don't like to sell with a bunch of sellers, you can say, I want you to remove the number, or I want to remove any result that has more than 10 sellers. Okay. So then we can actually remove third-party sellers. So what this is going to do, and this is only for Walmart, is it's actually going to remove when Walmart's not selling the item and a third-party seller is selling the item on the Walmart marketplace. It's going to remove that from our results. So it kind of helps with some of the, like, I really just want to buy from Walmart, I don't want to buy from someone else, that kind of stuff. Next one, if you don't like sending in oversized items, you can actually check mark it. And it's going to remove anything that has overly large dimensions or weight. Starts to sound good, right? So you can also see here with when we move out of stock products, on certain sites, you may want to remove anything that's out of stock so you don't spend your time looking at items with great return that aren't in stock. Now, some people love to leave this unchecked if they're getting ready to go, as you can see in the little blue box there, on a sourcing road trip, because they're great items to look for in the store. So there's multiple ways you can use these filters to help you kind of sort things down or to think outside the box. And we'll go into that and kind of some more advanced techniques of using this. That's not just plug and play and just hope for the best, actually use in a strategic fashion. So if you hate those listings that have no weight or size data, you can remove those. If it's not there, it's not going to be able to properly calculate the cost of shipping in via FBA. Thus, your ROI is going to be a little off. So if you just want to save the hassle and not mess with those, great, you can check that box. If you hate selling when Amazon is a seller and they're in stock, guess what? We've got a box for that. Now, some of these other ones will help you kind of narrow down a little bit farther. You got remove products with an Amazon price of less than this amount. So if you don't like to sell anything that's less than $10, you can put in $10. Make a little bit of sense there? And like I said, you can go through here and look at all of these. Now, say you are restricted in any product that is Marvel, for instance, okay? We'll just use that as an example. You can actually type that word in here, and what it's going to do, it's going to start going, hey, I can't sell this. So anytime you see the word Marvel on the keyword here, pull it. So you can see here, you can actually put that in there. Now, this is really used for like stuff like bundle. So I don't want to search a big group of health and beauty products and then all of a sudden realize that all my results are for a 6-pack. So I can put in bundle, pack, set, and it's going to start going, hey, this isn't what I'm looking for, so maybe we should just remove those. So now this row is kind of fascinating here. So if you ever go on one of those sites that has a bunch of things that say like clearance dash Fisher Price bobblehead or clearance dash Coca-Cola, and it has this word, and you're doing a title search, so it means you're comparing this title to the titles on Amazon, and you know that when you go to Amazon, there's not going to be something that says clearance dash, it's just going to have the product name. Well, you can actually have this little setting here that can help remove that. So I can remove like the word sale from the title. And what do you know? It's not going to search that. So when we have the title search ran, we're actually going to get better results back because it can remove the obscure things that are in there. So you can actually do the opposite too. So say you're on a site and say it's like a very unique store that doesn't have product brand names. So let's go Yankee Candle, for instance. I don't even know if it's one of the stores on here. I just am looking at a candle. Say I want to add in Yankee Candle to everything. It'll add in Yankee Candle Christmas Eve 8-ounce jar. Or Yankee Candle Summer Scoop 24-ounce jar. Something like that. And you're going to be able to add in that Yankee Candle, which will help it find it better on Amazon. So you can do either or on these. So now if you're only looking for something specific, like you only want it to return if there is the word red in it, we can pull that in. So if you only want results that have the word Nike or red or toy or WWE or only something, whatever you're looking for, you can remove all other results unless that word is shown up in the title. So now this next one here is only calculate FBA return if Amazon sales price is at least blank times the store price. Pretty easy common sense one here. You have an item that's $10 and you say I want anything that's at least 2 times the the store price. It's $10 on Walmart, $20 on Amazon. That works. If it's $21, we'll keep it. If the Amazon price is $19, we won't show that result. It's just going to speed up the process and drop those out. If you use a prep company, these next ones are cost to send a standard product, so non-oversized. It might be $1 for you. It might be $1.50 for an oversized product. You can, if you're making bundles, you can put the cost to create that bundle in there. I just have a filler in at this point. Cost to ship to Amazon. It's going to actually take the weight that is posted on Amazon, and it's going to help you start figuring out the actual calculation of what it's going to cost you to send that into Amazon. So this is all approximate. I'd always go a little higher, give yourself a little extra room, but so we're going to use 60 cents here. Now these last ones are pretty obvious filters, but if you want to remove anything that doesn't have a gross profit of at least like $3, $4, you can actually remove those items, and it won't show them in the results. Now, if you want it to be on a percentage basis, you can say I need it to have at least a 40% return on investment, or ROI. Both of those will help you get down to the ones that actually have value for you to purchase. Now, these last few are kind of check boxes, and I'm going to tell you that you're going to want to read the blue a little bit better, especially on the out-of-stock items here. So what I'm going to tell you is if you want, say we're searching Walmart and there's a bunch of products that don't have matches. What doesn't have a match is not going to show it to you. So you can say, hey, I want to see those results. Don't just hide them from me because there's not a match. Actually show them to me. But you can actually go one step further and click I only want to see those that don't match, so that you can do a little bit more comparison. Maybe you can find items that other people just would overlook 9 times out of 10, or you could even take those products to market yourself. So this is a very powerful little button here, and you'll see it'll remove a lot of the settings that you put up here, because we can't filter that way. If it doesn't have a match, the rest of the stuff doesn't matter because it can't pull in the information in the first place. So these are only the ones that Amazon are out of stock of, so please note that. Okay. And then this last one here is probably the most confusing and most powerful tool all at the same time, if that makes any sense. What you got here is if you put in, say we search on Walmart, we're searching action figures. Say we find a really cool action figure that we found, and we want to see if Kohl's has an even better price on it. Well, we could go to Kohl's and search, or we could just let the software handle it for us. So what we're going to do is you can click this box of UPC stores and title stores, and it's going to search whatever deals that you find that met all the rest of your filters, and it's going to search those against the database of the information that's already there. So if there's a better deal to be found, it's going to pull that up. Okay? Sounds crazy. That's what it does. It helps you actually go a lot faster. So you can match them on UPC. It's going to search all the UPC sites that way. Or you can do it by title and see if you find anything better. It's going to greatly reduce the speed of the search because it's got to do so much more work. But you might be able to find additional places to source from that have lower costs for those goods. So that's what we have here. I mean, it's pretty easy. And what you can do is once you have a filter that you like, you can actually like save it. So I can say Chris Wilkie test, and I can hit save, and it's going to save all of the information that I have down here. Okay? And it's going to be like, whoa, this is what it is. So let me go back here, and we can see we're back to the beginning. And you can see I have last used and all that stuff, and it's going to save some of the basic ones in there. I was doing some test runs as well, so that's why you're going to see other people's searches. So now, that's basically what it is. So let's go ahead and do something very basic here. Let's go ahead and do dollar day scan. Let's take up what they have over here in the corner. And let's search this pages 1 through 20. And my first recommendation when you're first getting into tactical arbitrage would be to not set any of the filters. Nothing. Okay? Just go down to the bottom and hit submit. You're going to see this magical thing start happening on the right-hand side here, okay? It's going to say you are running a process. If you want to cancel said process, which is what you're telling the software to do something, you can just click this here. It's going to tell you what pages you're running it on. It's It's going to tell you what page it's currently searching. It's going to tell you what product it's on that page and how many you should expect. Not that it's what it's going to be. Basically what it's done is said there's blank number of products per page. You want me to search 20 pages. We're going to do a quick multiplication and put that there. Then it's going to say, here are the products we've checked, and here are the products that we've added. And then you're actually going to see what they call the log of everything that's happening over here. So the live search that's going on. If you actually read through this, it's quite fascinating because it tells you what it's doing. So we look at product number 1 here. It gives you a timestamp of how fast it went when it pulled it through. And it says watching the products page, which means it's looking at it. It says it's done. We've pulled it up. Then it found the UPC code and it searched it on Amazon. And it found that it was this ASIN. So then it said, give me the information for the FBA. And then it'll tell you if it's added to the list. Okay? So this next one here, we can go down through. You see product number 2 on the page. You're going to see this magic word of got product from cache. So cache is something that's very confusing to those who are not familiar with tactical arbitrage. But what it is essentially, instead of having to go back and ask the website for the same information over and over and over again, it's going to have its own database, its own set of information that is refreshed based upon your selection of cache. So I say I'd like to go back cache that's only 4 hours. And I'll show you that in the settings here in a second. It'll pull the data. If it has any fresh data for the last 4 hours, it's going to compare to that. Odds are probably no price changes happened in that time. So it's going to pull it from that cache data, and it's going to run your search quicker. Cache is there to help speed your searches up. Okay? It's not supposed to be real confusing. It's supposed to help speed your searches up. The older the data, the more likely it's not going to be accurate. But the longer you have, so if you use cache data, it's going to speed up the search. So it's a trade-off. If you want it to be very fresh and current, you go very little cache. If you want it to be, so very little time spent in cache. If you want it to be a lot quicker and you want to scan a lot more, use a lot more cache. Okay, that's what that whole concept is there. So that's what it said. It said somebody had searched for this product, and we had pulled this information, so we went and grabbed it for you. And we're going to skip it because Amazon is out of stock of this product. I didn't check the right box. So you go down here and you can read through exactly what it's doing. It's saying we found this. It's going to be refreshing for you. And it's going to say, hey, I went to this page and there's no pages there. So on page 12, there's nothing for me to find here, Chris. So once this is all done, you can tell it's kind of done now. It's saying, hey, there's really no pages here, you idiot. Why'd you tell me to go to page 20 if I'm on page 20? Then you're going to see at the very end, it'll say done. Okay? So then what you're going to do is there's 2 ways to get to your data. You can go view data. Oh, and what's this going to do? What this is going to do is it's going to get us to the page where we can actually make purchasing decisions. So we were just spent a lot of time in the product search page, okay? That is this page, the one that you're going to need to be the most familiar with. View data is where you're actually going to get into the data, okay? So search gets us the data. View data allows us to do this, okay? There's a lot of buttons here, and we'll go through them real quick. You can actually download this data for you. You can export this. So if you want a CSV file, you can pull it. If you want to delete all the data, you don't want it in this anymore, you are tired of what you're looking at, you want to restart from the beginning, you can delete it all. If you want to update the source price, so you say, I want you to rerun all of these to make sure the source price is correct, it'll do it. So I can stop it if I want. I can adjust the prices to say there's a new sale going on, or I want to increase my sales tax in there. I can do that and have it rerun all the math for me. I can tell it to update all the Amazon data for me, or I can tell it to update all the data. So it's going to rerun everything again in this list if I click that button. So again, when you get this, you're going to get fresh data, but it's going to take a little bit. Okay? So there's more blue things. It tells you more information. Okay, you can actually save certain items, and there's some interesting things. You can have different folders. So say you want to create a list of replenishable items. You can create a replenishable folder. Say you find an item that you like that's a replenishable item. You can actually add it to the replenishable folder. Okay? Say you want to get rid of certain ones because they're not what you're looking for. You can delete those from our list. If you want to update just one item here, you can update it. Say I only want to update this one, I can checkbox it. I can hit the orange and go. Say I'm looking at something and it's definitely not a match. Like this, not a match. I can actually click this and say, hey, yo, this is a mismatch. It's going to actually say this is a mismatch. Got it. Okay. And it's going to remove it from your things because they don't match, obviously. Okay. So when we get down here, you got a bunch of information. And a lot of the boxes up top are actually recreated here. So if you wanted to exclude a certain brand, you can actually go in and exclude it. But let's just walk through this information real quick and show you what you guys have here. You have the domain of where you searched at. So this is the store that you searched to found this product. Then you have the title of the product. If you click this link, it'll actually pull up the page of where that product is found. Okay? It's like, hey, look, it's right here. Then what you have is the price of that product. And you can edit it if you want. You can tell I want 2 units, 1 unit. Okay, it's going to pull that information in. Then it's going to show you the Amazon title. It's going to say, here's what we found that matched. You can click the Keepa chart, and it's actually going to show it to you right here. You can see the camel, camel, camel chart if you click this. You can take it to Amazon Seller Central if you want to try to list it before you purchase something. And you can show the source, and I can pop this up here. And it's going to take you both pages at once of what you're looking at, okay? So this little button did. You just want to search for the title on Amazon. That button will speed it up, and you can look to see if it's on there. It's going to show you these images for quick comparisons, okay? These things don't look exactly alike, so I'm going to have to do a little more research before I decide to even buy this. It's going to show you the category. It's going to show you the brand, okay? It's going to walk you through here. If you don't think they match, it's going to pick the next closest matches. And you can go through and go, yeah, that's right, that's not. If I wanted to exclude a brand, I can click exclude, and it's going to remove that brand, saying I'm not eligible to sell this. Stop showing me results for it. Now, if Amazon has a UPC code here, you're going to see it here. Here's your ASIN numbers. Then you're also going to see that it's highlights when I do this. So it's going to ask me, is that really the right one there? And you can actually tell it that it's right or wrong. And it's going to highlight blue if it's been edited by a human that's on there. So I'm going to mark this as a mismatch because I don't want it to screw up results for anybody else. So then you got the Amazon buy box price, the return after the Amazon fees, gross profit, gross ROI, the number of sellers, and the sales rank, okay? So if I want to save this, I can heart it. I can add it to a saved list. I could refresh the data, or I can remove this, okay? Now, I can show up to 300 records here, okay? So it's 300 rows. So if I want to delete all this, I just hit delete all data, and it's actually going to say, sorry, nothing there. So that's your view data tab. Now your download data tab, if you had any data in this, it's going to download it for you. If you have a saved list, you can go in here and see what is actually saved. You can go down through and go, oh yeah, it's great stuff. If you have mismatches, you want to actually participate in the contest. I'll explain those in another class. He actually has contests, so you can actually get money off your subscription if you help them with mismatches. So it's trying to help build a better database so they have more accurate information. That's what the mismatch pages are. And if you have helped match anything, so you can actually go in here and adjust this to help try to find these matches. And there's actually a contest each month where people can do this. Then if you want to see what you have actually matched, so you have been responsible for helping to match, you can click that last one. And it's going to pull it up here shortly. I'm going to close out of these tabs since we have 20 open. And it'll show you the products that you have helped match, which I just told you this one. That's why I marked it as a mismatch, because it doesn't match. But it's going to show you the ones you did. So if we go back over to the product search page, and I'm not going to go in through the Amazon Flips, reverse search, library search, product variations pages today. Not happening. Now settings. So now over here, I had to kind of stop there for a second because I had all my keys in here and I didn't want you guys to see all of those. You actually have your settings page. And this is just where you'll have to do a little bit of information. You need to put in your MWS tokens here because it's going to help you actually run the searches. It's how it's all based. There's actually a great tutorial that's on this page that if you don't know how to do this, it'll actually walk you through the steps of how to do it. Walmart API key, there's like a 3-minute process that you go through, and this will actually allow you to speed up the searches with Walmart like tremendously. If you're using any Keepa API, you're using like the tokens there, you can put that in here. This is a little more complex. Not a ton of people do it, but people who do a lot of Amazon to Amazon flips use this a lot. If you use Storefront Stalker, you can actually put this in here, and it's going to have the bestseller feature that activates. You get to see that you can get email notifications when something's done. You can get text notifications. You can get sound notifications. You can see that you want it to search all of these on here. You can tell it to exclude certain domains from the reverse search that I was just explaining. You can see that you only want this stuff here. I mean, you only want stuff that's Amazon Fulfillment, UPC sites only. You can show seasonal filters. You cannot use the global user matching edit, so you don't want to get anything that's been matched by a human. You can move that. So you can say, I only want machines. I highly recommend keeping the global one on. Here's where you get the cache at. So here's the settings I like to use, and this is really should be 3 days on this one. I was messing with this. I like to use a day. I don't think a lot of pricing data gets switched right around a day, so I use a day for all of these. Now you can use 3 hours. Like I said, the shorter amount of time that you use, the longer your searches are going to take. It's your call from there. And then you can see that I've got sales rank filters for categories. I can actually go in and say I don't like things that are within this range for all these categories, because we all know that baby doesn't have as many products as clothing. So it's going to be a different amount that I can put in there, and I can set all those as a preset. I can exclude certain brands. I can go in here and set some library search features, which we'll go into later. I can show that I can say I only want 300 rows, 1,000 rows in my view data. If you're doing some of the matching competitions, you can put in your PayPal address there. And you can do some information that's right here that can help you with the way that you see your items. So I'm not going to save any of this because I removed my stuff, but that's the settings tab. Video, you can actually see here there's a ton of great videos that are here. And now I'll be honest with you. Alex is great at explaining stuff, but he uses a lot of technical jargon that if you're not a coder or not somebody that's in software, you're going to have a little trouble understanding. So this guide that I'm doing is going to be a lot easier to understand, but once you get the hang of what I'm saying, you can go through here and see what goes through the guy's head that actually built this, okay? And I'm telling you, it's very good stuff, and you can sit here and watch. It's like 5-6 hours of video, but once you're done watching all of these videos in here, you're going to be like, holy crap, I've just learned so much, and I can't wait to put that to action. But I watch mine first and then watch these. These are all free, part of the stuff. Okay, there's some frequently asked questions down here. And then this is the game. So if you actually help up here, if you match over 125 items, you get a $10 rebate. If you get the most matches, it'll give you an Echo Dot plus a case. Okay, there's some fun things there. Now back to the product search, and I'm going to give you guys some homework. Okay, since this is a course and we're just about done, and once we get done here, I want you guys, if you do have your tactical arbitrage features here, or trial or not, I want you guys to give this a try. So I want you to pick a site that you want to search. So I'm going to search DSW for shoes. I want you to actually go to that site and figure out how to figure out which URL to use here. Please read the list over here that is already, it gives you the instructions. Paste that in here. Let's do pages 1 through 25. And then start playing with filters. But what I want you to do first is to run it once without any filters. okay? And then I want you to go in and use 2 filters. Use the ones that we would typically think of when we're in a store, okay? Remove ranks over and either gross profit or gross ROI. Then I want you to run that search, okay? And see the difference in the results. You're going to have way fewer items on the view data page, but you're going to have a way better selection of items. And then what I want you to go in to do is I want you to go in and start adding in sales tags and add in some store price reductions. And then run it again. And then go in and start tweaking every little nook and cranny through here. And our next course is going to cover this. How do you build the model of how to search for this? Okay, I'm going to show you a lot of other ways to use this to find great items to source, but I want you to start here and learn how to play with the system, because there's no better experience. I can sit here and teach and talk to you all night long, but until you go in and actually play with it yourself, you're never going to really understand what's going on. And then what I want you guys to do is feel free to take a few screenshots, go over to the private Facebook group that we have for this course, share them in there and start asking questions. Since we're not doing this live, you're not going to be able to ask me questions as we're going through this. So we're going to use that Facebook group that we have in order to go through and start going, well, yeah, I didn't understand this one. Chris, can you explain a little bit more? And I'll be able to hop on with either video clips or some comments in there and actually help you guys understand this a little bit better. So that's your homework. Go run 4 or 5 searches if you do have your trial here. Go through and start broad and then start narrowing down the filters and start building what you think would be your preferred filter list. And then show it in the Facebook group, ask questions, see if we can narrow down, figure out any issues you have. And then we'll come back and we'll go through some different ways to use the software next time. And remember, we're still going to get to Amazon Flips, reverse search, and library search. Don't worry about those right this second. They're really powerful tools, but I just went through almost 40 minutes of video with you over just one tool that I want you guys to get to know how to use. Practice with this first before diving into everything else. Again, if you have questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next course.